What's going on, my fellow degenerates? We are back heading into week 4 of the NFL, and we have some exciting storylines around the league to go over and a little wide receiver talk this week. So let's start with quarterback news. Obviously, the most important position in football. It makes the most differences for teams. So, yeah, Justin Fields, he will be back post concussion this week. It's very good news for the team. It means no more Tyrod Taylor. That's great for the offense. That being said, this week. The game isn't too exciting. They're playing the Dolphins. It's going to be an absolute turd fest. So maybe Justin Fields could get his first win, or Tua does. So yeah, it'll be quite a doozy on Monday night for that one. And then also Jaden Daniels will be out once again with his sprained knee. This means Marcus Mariota is getting the start once again. He had an all right week last week. They very productive on offense. He had a couple bad plays, which I'm sure he wish he could take back. But yeah, I think if you still have players on the Commanders, you're totally fine starting them with Mariota once again. And then the most exciting quarterback news this week, probably the whole season so far, is Jackson Dart getting the start. Yeah, I wasn't a big Dart guy coming out of college, but he's really grown on me the last few months. He's just very fun, a lot of personality. He's like a WWE wrestler, just total fun guy. The eye black persona, all that kind of thing. He's just fun to listen to, hear him talk, and then just the combination of him with Cam Scatabo, Malik Neighbors. That's just like such a good young trio. I think it gives Giants fans a lot of hope, something they haven't particularly had in the last 10, 15 years or so. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they look like in the future. I also think this week it's totally a tough matchup against the Chargers, but it should kind of take the pressure off because it doesn't really matter how Dart does against this team. I mean, I think everyone's kind of expecting him to struggle and fail, so maybe he just gets out there and does his thing and gets going. So yeah, totally going to be awesome to look at. Um, and then moving on to wide receivers. So we're going to talk about wide receivers, how who's doing well, better than expectations, worse than expectations, and what you should kind of do with that going on your team. So I'm going to throw a chart up here. It's going to be the top 24 wide receivers so far in fantasy points. This is in standard PPR format. Yeah, so I mean, let's just go down the list real quick. Total no shockers here. We have Puka, Amon Ra, top 2. Rome breaking out on his second year, being third here. That's a bit of a shocker, but not overly too surprising with Ben Johnson there. Caleb Williams taking another step. Obviously, they still don't look too great as a team, but they're putting up points. So Trey Tucker from left field out of nowhere, like 3 fields over left field. Yeah, this is all because that one game, huge game. It's only 3 weeks into the season. So total surprise there. He's not going to stay there, I believe. So yeah, JSN, he already had a game this week. He looked all right, totally just 13 points, whatever. But I think the team looks better than we expected. So that's exciting for JSN. Keenan Allen cracking a wide receiver 1 here. I want to say this is surprising, but also not surprising at the same time, right? Keenan goes back to Herbert, reunites, and just is like nothing ever changed. He's old, but yeah, he's still great. So just so many targets there. Great for him, not for Lad. Garrett Wilson, he's getting a lot of volume once again, which we expected. Looks great. He's up here. QJ, another one, total shocker. He learned how to catch the ball this year, I guess. So all the plays where they try and get him the ball, get him open, it's working out very well. It's exciting to see. Malik Neighbors, he somehow survived 3 weeks of Russell Wilson so far, and he's still not dead. So it's good for him. A lot of hospital balls, getting beat up there. So let's hope he gets some more help with Jackson Dart. Emeka Ibuka looks like the best rookie wide receiver so far, especially with the injuries happening in Tampa Bay. Mike Evans is going to miss some time. Chris Godwin's been out so far. So, yeah, it's really just him down there for the short future, at least. So he's exciting. Big matchup this week against the Eagles. Jamar Chase struggling so far. A lot of that, obviously, is Joe Burrow, Jake Browning. I wouldn't panic really there, but it just it sucks. You probably took Chase 101 if you have him, and for Burrow to go down, I mean, that's becoming the norm lately, but yeah. Michael Pittman, total surprise here. But I don't really know. I mean, Pittman looked great 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Last year was terrible, but that was the Anthony Richardson experiment once again. So, yeah, I think we're just learning that Anthony Richardson was really, really bad. So it's exciting for Pittman. Happy to see him there. Zay Flowers, he's down to 13. He was up much higher earlier. Yeah, he's getting a lot of targets this year, something that hasn't happened in the past, nearly as consistent enough. So we'll see if he can still stay up here. Devontae Adams, still Devontae Adams. Matt Stafford, still Matt Stafford. They already have a good connection. Yeah, he still looks really good despite the age. Debo, he's getting a lot of design plays in this offense in Washington. He's fun to watch. I think he hovers kind of around this range for the whole season. Maybe drops down to like 18 to 20 or so, but I think he can manage to stay up here. Ricky Pearsall, Ricky as the only wide receiver on the Niners is benefiting with Kittle out, with Jawan Jennings out, with Ayuk out, Debo gone. Yeah, I think he's just going to stay up here even with Mac Jones. Now that Brock Purdy's back, we'll see what it looks like. Cortland Sutton, still Broncos wide receiver one. Wandell, total PPR target scam god. Yeah, he has like the worst average depth of target in the league every year, but somehow he gets like 10 targets a game. Makes no sense. He's up here. Nico Collins, he's down at 19. Yeah, you don't like to see this if you're a Nico Collins owner, but Stroud, the Texans, all struggling this year, so it's not surprising. Pickens having a good year so far, especially now that Lamb's out. He's the wide receiver one here. They're going to have to pass a lot, especially seeing as their defense is so bad. Probably the worst defense in the league right now, the Cowboys. So Pickens, yeah, he might jump much higher up this list as the season goes on. Tyreek Waddle sneaking down here. Yeah, we'll see what this looks like in the future going forth. I can see them rising. I can see them falling. It's too hard to know with Tua and the Dolphins. Jacoby Myers getting a lot of targets, but Trey Tucker kind of taken away from him. He's kind of felt like the safe low end wide receiver two, high end wide receiver three we would expect. So, yeah, and then Chris Olave, he's kind of a shock to sneak in here. From based on preseason, but now as the season started, I mean, he's gotten quite a few targets, double digit targets pretty much every game. So, yeah, I guess Olave is back. It's exciting to see if you're an Olave owner. And then moving on, here's the list of the players who are outside the top 24 that are, I would deem like fairly noticeable to extremely noticeable. Obviously, Justin Jefferson struggles there with the QB room with JJ McCarthy getting hurt. And now they have Carson Wentz. Also, their defense just blew the doors off last week. So, yeah, not as much usage. That's okay. Not too worried. CeeDee Lamb, obviously injured now. Looks like he's going to miss at least a couple weeks. We still don't have any exact details. DK, he's had a couple good plays, but he's just not getting a lot of catches. Unfortunately, he saw the end zone last week, but just didn't put up too many points overall. I think that'll get better as the season goes on. Rodgers still looks much better than he has in the past 2 years. So I'm hopeful for DK. Devonta Smith, they're just not throwing the ball a lot. That's what the Eagles do every year. They just run the ball. They're always 32nd in passing attempts. Looks like that's going to be the case once again this year. Lad McConkey, man. Lad just got totally sideswiped out of nowhere down here. I was very excited for Lad this year. Obviously not working out great. His value is plummeting. So tough to see. I think he's safe long term, but just immediate future, it's unfortunate for him. DJ Moore, this is obviously direct correlation to the Roma Dunze rising. I think this was always expected, but I think it happened a year earlier than we expected. A lot of us thought DJ Moore was going to kind of be the guy this year and then maybe get traded next year. But apparently Rome's already hopped him. So unfortunate for DJ Moore. Drake London, this one's another surprise. He was wide receiver one last year. He looks terrible so far, so that's not good for him. We aren't really, yeah. So Penix, really, it's all on Penix. The offense very struggling. They couldn't put up any points on the Panthers of all teams last week. So total struggle. And then we got BTJ down at 55. He's the talk of the league, I feel like, for fantasy. He's got the yips. He hates Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence only throws hospital balls. His wrist is injured, so he can't catch. He can't catch because he sucks. I'm not panicking on BTJ. I think it's probably the wrist injury, and he'll be okay in the long term. Drops are something you could fix pretty easily. But yeah, down here at 55 is not what you like to see. Terry also just got paid, not putting it up any points. Jaden's out, so he's got that, similar to T with Burrow being out. Wide receiver two on a team when your quarterback is hurt is no bueno. And Calvin Ridley, I know a lot of people had hope for Calvin Ridley coming into this season. He's already been replaced by Elikayo Maynor as the wide receiver one on that team. I don't think he can claw his way back now. Unfortunate for him, but yeah, I think he's kind of a lost cause for this fantasy season. So yeah, in terms of trading these guys, who you should trade, a lot of it depends on your roster makeup, kind of like where you need help, what your bench pieces are like, that kind of thing. Who in your league is willing to trade? I've talked about that in other videos of how to approach your league mates for trading. But a lot of trades I see people making are 2-for-1 trades, 3-for-2 trades. This depends a lot on your team makeup. Sometimes it can be great in your favor. Sometimes it can be terrible in your favor. Yeah, so generally for me, I like to be on the side getting the fewer players. Generally means you're getting the best player in the trade. Usually I feel like if I get the best player involved in a trade, I win. But there are cases where the depth is more helpful. So using some of these players to acquire more depth if needed is totally an avenue. And so I'm going to pull up some trades here from fantasycalc.com. This is a website that you can use for fantasy data that it stores for looking at trades, values, whatever that kind of things, calculators. Those are all like kind of whatever. It's both for dynasty and redraft, but a good thing it does have is it has a database full of trades that have been made in fantasy leagues. And you can also change the parameters here so the leagues can match your exact settings. So you can go in, you can select 12 teams, you can select full PPR, half PPR, 10 teams, 8 teams, 14 teams. Do you have one quarterback? Do you have super flex? That kind of whole thing. So it'll only show you trades that are involved in leagues that fit your parameters, gives you an idea. Obviously, if you have 2 quarterback leagues, values way skewed compared to 1 quarterback leagues. So let's look at a couple of these guys that we've talked at so far and what kind of trades are happening with them involved. So yeah, so let's go with Quentin Johnson first, right? He's surprised he's up there. He's wide receiver 8 so far. So far recently, he's been traded straight up for Drake London, straight up for Devonta Smith, straight up for Rashee Rice, or straight up for Breece Hall. So obviously, all those players drafted much higher than QJ. Yeah, I mean, he's hot. Those guys are all not doing hot or not playing in Rashee's case. So yeah, I mean, I kind of like all those trades getting rid of QJ for. I don't really trust him long term. Maybe I'm going to miss the boat on him. I have him in one league. I'm trying to shop him around, but that league kind of seems to be not too high on him either. So I'm kind of fine keeping him. He's my 3rd wide receiver at best, probably 4th or 5th realistically. So I'm okay with it. But yeah, it wouldn't be bad idea to shop QJ to some teams that have some guys underperforming and need wide receiver help. Trey Tucker, another guy surprised he's up there at wide receiver 4. Looking at him, there's not a whole lot of value going into just Trey Tucker, but he's a good piece where you could package him with someone else as like a deal sweetener. Sometimes you give like a 1-for-1 trade that's kind of close value, and then you add on a guy like Trey Tucker, and the other person's like, oh, sweet, I get this guy who's producing on top for free. So yeah, recently he got traded with Ramondre Stevens for J.K. Dobbins. I like that a lot. He got traded with DJ Moore for Jalen Warren. If you need a running back, that's a pretty good move. And then there's one here where he got traded straight up for Travion Henderson. I like this a lot. Yeah, I would do that in an instant if I had Trey Tucker. You send me Hendo for Tucker, he's gone. Like, so yeah. Let's take a look at Michael Pittman here. So Michael Pittman, wide receiver 12. Last few days, he's been traded straight up for Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatterbo. Yeah. So if you are needing a running back and you have Pittman, you probably didn't draft him all too high. And those are some fairly productive running backs you could get and pivot to. So it's a good thing to think about. And then lastly, we're going to check on BTJ. So obviously, BTJ, shit season so far. His value is also, I think, a little bit of an overreaction. But let's see. Right here, he got traded for DeAndre Swift and Jalen Waddle. Devontae Adams straight up. All right, that one's a little bit better. And then Alvin Kamara straight up. Um, yeah, so maybe you try and buy BTJ if you can get him for some of these packages or players. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't panic on him. But yeah, using the site in general is very like, it's not like a cookie cutter thing to follow. Your league is its own ecosystem, whatever. But gives you some ideas. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need running back help. Who should I target? And I'm like looking at a player's team and I'm like, no, they don't have anyone. They don't have anyone. They don't have anyone. And then I just kind of run out of options. So it's great for ideas to kind of think about what you can do. And then let's close this up talking about some of the games this week. We'll go back. We'll start at the bottom of the barrel here. The crabs in a bucket. We got I think 6 teams left that haven't won a game. Jets, Giants, New York Faithful, right there. The Titans, the Dolphins, Texans, and the Saints, all 0-3. Some of these teams might get a win this week. 2 of them definitely will. We have the Dolphins Jets Monday night, as I mentioned earlier. Total fuck fest. Worst game of the season so far, probably. And then we have the Titans and the Texans playing. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win and the Texans. I chose the Texans last week. I cursed them. This is probably going to happen again. So I'm picking the Texans once again. They won't disappoint me this time. And then the Giants, like I mentioned, we were talking about Jackson Dart earlier. They're playing the Chargers. That's going to be a tough one for them. And then the Saints are playing the Bills. It's a total Mount Everest to climb right there. So that ain't happening. And then on the side of good games, we have the Chiefs and Ravens playing this week. Should be a close one. They both had slow starts. Very disappointing. This could be a real turnaround point for one of them. And then we also have the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Should be a great game. Some injuries so far with those teams, but should be good nonetheless. So I'm going to go with the Bucs again. I picked the Eagles to lose last week. Didn't happen. I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to pick I got to go with the Chiefs over the Ravens. Should be a good game. And then another game that's in the media right now, Packers and Cowboys, Micah versus Jerry, that whole thing. Jerry just cannot shut his mouth and stop yapping about Micah Parsons. I think the latest one was, yeah, he's a good player, but look at all the years he was here. We didn't win any Super Bowls. So total great composure by Jerry there. I hope the Packers beat the pants off the Cowboys. I like seeing Jerry lose. So, yeah, that's all I got for this week. So good luck in your fantasy football games and have a good weekend. And I'll see you in the next one.